how it's going to go. All right, we do have an autograph session right after this panel. How it's going to go is we're going to go row by row by row by row. One autograph per person, please, so that way everyone has a chance. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to ask a few questions, and then we're going to open it up for you guys for as much of the hour as possible, and then Yoshi's going to do a quick little speaking session after that, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. You guys ready? All right. So how did you start working for Squaresoft?
ですね、最初のずいぶん前なんですけども、まだファミコンといってファミリーコンピューター、任天堂のコンピューター始めたので、そんなに一般的ではなかったんですよね。最初の仕事の時は僕もまだ、どういうふうにっていうのは分からなくて、最初の方の時はこういう感じだったんですね。線が画面がなくて。だからこういうキャラクターかなと思ってこういうふうに書いてもらって、いや普通に書いてください。それは印象です。
When I first started working for Squaresoft, it was back in the days of the old 8-bit Famicom or the Nintendo, and what I thought they wanted me to do is write it out like an 8-bit computer with just boxes, pixels everywhere. But they told me to just draw it out regularly, like just natural in your own style, and then we'll work from there. I really liked that job.
Do you feel like your art is properly interpreted and maintained throughout the video game making process?
ですね、僕はその前にというか、一緒なんですけども、アニメーションのキャラクターをやってまして、アニメーションのキャラクターというのは僕の描いたものが真似をするわけですね。だからゲームの場合も僕の描いたキャラクターをゲームを作る人が真似て描くわけですから、基本的にはそんなに変わらないです。
When I first draw a character, and then when the game is finished, they work with me, and so the character and the style is really nothing really changed throughout the whole game process.
Does it feel like the style gets a little lost when turned into 3D?
ですね、絵というのは平面ですから 2D なんですよ。で、頭の中にあるのはね、これは絵を描く人だったら分かると思うんですけども、3D になってるんですよね。頭の中では、脳の中では立体としてあるわけです。人物が描いた風景をね、ちゃんと置くんであって、それを手で平面に描いたものが作品となるわけですので、そんなに変わらないんですよね。実際には頭の中がそのまま画面の中で立体になっているだけであって、そんなに変わらないです。
When I first draw an image, of course it's going to be in a 2D format, but when I have an image in my head, when anybody has an image in their head for that matter, it's going to be three-dimensional. So the end product is actually 3D. So I really don't feel that the style changes if I know that the end product is going to be what I had in my mind in the first place.
When designing the characters, are you given a list of personality traits for each one, or do you create the character as it comes to you?
そうですね、まずね、例えば人物だったら年齢とそれから役割ですね。それからそうじゃない場合は、例えばドラゴンだったらホワイトドラゴンとかブラックドラゴンとかレッドドラゴンとかっていう形、意外と簡単なものです。そういうことで、あとはそれを演技する。例えばドラゴンというのは実際誰も見たことないと思うんですよね。誰かが描いたドラゴンを 想像して書くわけなので、僕の場合ですけども、あまりドラゴンっていうのは見ないで、勝手に自分の中で想像したものを書くので、その方が多分オリジナリティがあると思います。それとあとその方がそのゲームの個性を出ると思うので、結構この辺は参考程度で好きに書いて出してきたという。
When I was given a project to work on a human character, for example, all they give me is the character's age and their role in whatever they're doing in the game. Other than that, it's mostly my own input on that. When I'm given a project to work on something like a white dragon or a black dragon, no one's really ever seen a dragon before, so what I do is I just remember what I've seen before, and take that from the images in my head and put that down on paper, and then from that point on, the company takes over. They do that and goes through a process until the game's finished.
例えば文章で耳が大きくて体が大きい、それで鼻が長い、そういう生き物だっていうと、それをキャラクターにしたらね、それは象だと言えば、そういうふうにね、文章にした場合とビジュアルにした場合っていうのは意外と普段分かってるものでも違うものに感じるんですよね、文章って。ビジュアルでは分かってても文章をすると当たり前のものが全然違うイメージだとか、そういう面白さはあるんです。
Another interesting point when making a character, sometimes they give me a sentence to work with for the character. For instance, a character might have big ears, a long nose, and then maybe I end up drawing an elephant for that character. But that's just an interesting point. They give me something to work with, and whatever image comes in my head comes onto the paper. It's just really interesting to see what turns out.
Which characters were the most challenging to design?
ですね、例えばドラゴンは随分たくさん書いてるんですけども、ドラゴンだけでも何十種類あったりとかするんで、毎回こういろんなドラゴンあるんで、じゃあ例えば難しいことはあんまりないんですけども、結構みんな楽しくキャラクターとしては作ったんですけども、ドラゴンに関して言うと西洋のドラゴンと東洋のドラゴンが違うんですよね。で、東洋のドラゴンは神なんですよね。幻獣というか尊いものですね。で、西洋のドラゴンというのは結構悪かったりするんで、そういうのを自分なりに使い分けてキャラクター作ったりをしてます。
Of all the characters I've drawn, not really any of them were difficult. They were really fun to draw. But as far as dragons go, I have drawn many different types of dragons throughout the games. And as you know, the dragons in the east are different from the ones in the west. And dragons in the west, to me, kind of have an evil feel. So, it was really interesting to put my style into that. And so there really wasn't anything difficult, but coming up with different designs for all the different dragons I do probably difficult.
And we'll ask again from the first panel. What is your favorite Final Fantasy character?
昨日も言いましたけどね。今日は何しようかな。モム。ティナかな。ティナ。I like Tina.
Yesterday he said it was Moga, but today it's going to be different. Today it's going to be Tina.
Tina.
Yes! Is there any particular Final Fantasy game that became a special project for you?
やはり、 最初のね、1、ファイナルファンタジー1というのは、これはちょっとゲーム自体がね、新しい、世界がなかったので、それが最初のもので、もしファイナルファンタジー1がダメというかあんまりね、売れなかったら、2、3はなかっただろうし、やっぱりゲームというのは面白くて売れないと次がない。ファイナルファンタジーの多分ね、どうぞ宿命としてね。だからやっぱり面白くて売れるものができた。最初のファイナルファンタジーが一番印象にあった。
Of all the Final Fantasy games that I've worked on, it would have to be number one for the fact just because at that time the game era had really just begun, and I knew at the time that if Final Fantasy 1 wasn't going to get off the ground, and 2 would not come, and so on, and if that didn't happen, then I still wouldn't be here drawing Final Fantasy characters. So it was a new experience for drawing anything for a game, for that matter. So of course 1 will be the most that remains in my mind.
And 2 just came in at the right time for this one. What do you think about all the Final Fantasy cosplayers who are dressed specifically from your artwork style?
そこにいますよ。
Four of them are up in front here.
ここにいるとなんかね、ゲームの中に自分が入ったような、頭の中に自分が入ってる不思議な気分。
Sometimes I want those characters to remain in my head. It was a joke.
Okay, I'm going to start opening it up to the rest of you, all of you. I'm going to try my best to get as many as possible, but it might not get all of you within the time that we have. So start your questions now. Raise your hands. Okay, this woman right here.
Hi, I have been to the. Oh,
Yep, we're gonna get a mic.
We're gonna give you a mic.
okay.
See,
So
isn't
the
that
rest
cool?
of you can hear.
Hello. I have been to the Square Enix office in Tokyo, and the work that you have up there, I noticed it's more landscape, and you usually do character work. Was that a special commission or request from Square Enix for their office?
ですね、キャラクターをやった後に、イメージボードってのがあるんですよね。それは風景と全部含めた、例えば映画で言ったら、一つの映画のシーンみたいなものを何枚か描きます。その中に実際のゲームとは違う風景になったりもするんです。というのは、ゲームはゲームで進んでますし、僕の産業は僕の産業で進んでるので、同時進行にしてるんですね。だからゲームのその世界の風景を描かなくても、僕なりの風景があっても、幅が広がって逆にそれはOK だと思うんですよ。だからそういう意味で、一つのお話なんですけども、いろんな世界があって、でもいろんな世界があるとそれがファイナルファンタジーだから。
Of course, I'm drawing characters. When I'm drawing characters, there's something called an image board that goes along with making a game, and the background, of course, is an important part of the image board. So we're doing that at the same time, and so it wasn't necessarily a special project done by Square Enix. It's just part of making the whole game.
Take the very, very back on the right-hand side.
was it also your last Final Fantasy as the artist? I know that you still do the logos and everything, but if Square asked you to come back to do another one, would you do it?
やると思います。ですね、キャラクターは変わってませんけども、イメージボードとか、あとロゴもそうなんですけども、あとポスターとか、なんていうか、変わっています。そういう意味では、ゲームのイメージボード、ポスターとか、そういうビジュアル面で関わっています。
I'm still working along with Square Enix doing posters and I'm still doing the logos as well. And of course, if they asked me to work all on the characters, I would do that in a heartbeat. But I still work with the image boards for the games.
Okay, we will have one going.
Hello. I was wondering, what was your feelings or impressions with working with Neil Gaiman and also on the Sandman books?
サンドマンっていうのはDC コミックのかなりアメリカのことだとご存知かもしれませんけども昔からあるお話で、ちゃんとキャラクターも決まってるんですよね、役割がね、髪型が何か。僕はその辺知らなくて実は書いたんですけど、ポスターを書いて、その後に初めてサンドマンというものがどういうキャラクターかというのが分かって、で、その原作者というかな、ゲームゲーマーと一緒にやることによって、髪の毛が僕がまず最初書いたポスター白かったんですよ。でそれ実は黒かったっていうことで、実際のドリームハンターを黒くしたりとか、結構いろいろ修正したんですけども、あまり今までのサンドマンとは違ってもいいのかなと思って、そういう意味で自分なりのサンドマンを書いたつもりで、もう一つゲームゲーマンという作家がやっぱりすごく才能のある作家なので、そういう意味ではこういう人がねいるんだなっていうのはすごく僕にとっては良かった。それとあとビジョネアというファッション雑誌なんですけど、それもやっぱりゲームゲーマンと一緒に
When I first went to the project that I was to do with Neil, of course DC Comics and the story of Sandman. The story of Sandman, it comes from a long time ago, and the character has already been established. I really didn't know anything about him. When I first drew the poster for Sandman, his hair was white, and of course Sandman's hair is black. And so I didn't know about the character, but when I started working on the comic itself, then I started to learn about the character more and more. And I really respect Neil as an artist and a writer, and it was really great working with him. And also Neil and I worked together in fashion on the Visionaire. Visionaire magazine is a fashion magazine. I worked on that with Neil.
Okay, I know I'll jump up right here.
What was it like to work what was it like to work for Takarazuka for La Esperanza?
宝塚のよく知ってますね。
that's really amazing that you know that much.
あれはですね、実は今回やったのは、まず僕がイメージスケッチをやりまして、それをもとに宝塚の、実際の、俳優じゃないか、出演者の方にポーズを撮ってもらって写真を撮って、それを拡大して、まだその時で衣装とかできてなかったので、それを絵で顔と手以外は全部絵で描きます。それが一応それを何枚か描きました。そういう仕事を行います。
Oh, the last time I worked on anything with the Takarazuka, I basically did the image sketches for that, and what we did is we had the models, their costume, take a picture of that, and enlarge it, and then I would just do the sketches of those, and it was very interesting.
We'll do right ears. Right ears.
How do you feel about how popular Japanese culture is in America? Like, it seems like we all love video games and anime and everything, even the way we dress. So, how do you feel about that?
どうなんだろう例えば、10年後はどうなるか分かりませんから、今たまたまそれがね、関心があるということだと思うので、文化っていつもそれぞれの文化があって、それにお互いに影響し合っているので、僕がやはりアニメーションをやってた頃はね、やっぱりポップアートとかそういったのがあって、僕、20代の頃だったんですけども、アニメーションのキャラクターをやっているときに、それを取り入れたりとかして、実は広めたんですが、アメリカコミックスの影響を受けてますので、それはなんか時代によって行ったり来たりしているので、たまたま今日本のものがそういうふうに出てるか、また10年後、20年後はまた分かりませんので、なんか時代にいつもそういうものなのかなと思います。
I think it really has to do with the generation of the fans and the things that I'm influenced by. For example, well, about 15 or 20 years later, but when I first started in the animation business, working on things like Tangle-Con or G-Force, back in those days, I was influenced by things like the American comics and things like that. I tried to put a lot of American clothes in some of the animation that I was working on. And I go to a lot of different places. I'm influenced by many different cultures and their clothes. I try to implement those in my projects as well.
だから文化というのは多分時間かかるんですけど、一度入り込んだものが熟成されて出てくる時には何年かかかるので、また今の日本のものだともし、流行っているんだけど、またしばらくすると今度はアメリカから全く違うものが出てくるような気がするので、それはなんかすごく楽しみだ。
In the case of culture, I believe that culture takes a long time, so I don't know if 10 or 20 years later what will happen, but we need to wait out and see what happens, and things might change.
We'll take one right in the back here, right with the sword, yeah.
Good. Which one? Which two of them?
Oh, yeah, the one in the gray shirt. Sorry. I'm having my microphone first instead of extras.
We've seen lately that there's been Nobu Natsu that's doing his concerts with Final Fantasy music. Is there a plan to do something similar with your artwork in American galleries to show off Japanese theme artwork with mainstream American art museums and galleries?
ですね、今僕ファイヤーズやってるのが実は 昔僕がやったアニメーションの影響を受けてたんですよね。だからゲームが翻訳なんてまだないんで、それをもうちょっとしたら僕やろうかなと思います。
Up to now, I've mostly worked on animations and things like that, and I've done gallery work from the animations. But I really want to try and take some of my artwork from the game and do a gallery too.
実はスライムというのも書いています。
He's going to do something with slime.
Okay. Oh my gosh. The one whose hand just shot up with glasses going like this. Yeah.
I was wondering how the Western gamers influence the game process in the Final Fantasy games.
Could you repeat the question?
How do Western gamers influence the design of Final Fantasy games as well as the Eastern gamers?
あまり影響を受けてないかもしれない、僕は。だから、ちょっとこれまた、作られてください。
He really doesn't, or I really don't receive any type of influence from any of the fans that are anywhere. So if you want to have any influence, you need to write a letter to the company.
Okay. Orange hair right in the aisle, over to the right. Yeah.
What is your favorite medium to work in?
リトグラフというのはちょっと僕すごい好きでして、なぜかというとやっぱりパリのミシャとか、あとローズレスとかっていうのがリトグラフをやってて、その絵がすごく好きで、それをやりたかったんですよね。それでやり始めて、それは普段描いてるものとちょっと違う感じになるので、それをやりたくてやったら、それがね、それをですね、ファイナルファンタジーの8で、6か、俺、6で実はリトグラフで描いたんですね。リトグラフで作品を仕上げたのが何枚かありまして、それはなんかリトグラフでやりたくて、それとゲームの絵をちょっと自分なりに加えたものが6であるんですよ。で、7はシルクスクリーンでやってっていうなんかね、そういう意味ではいろんな技法は僕が好きで、もちろん悪友で描いたりしますけども、いろんな技法を描くのが楽しいです。
There's a lot of mediums that I work with, but probably the most one that I like to work with is the lithograph. And the reason for that is I was influenced by a lot of artists in Paris, and they would work with lithographs, and so I wanted to do that as well. If you look at Final Fantasy VI, from the art that was made for that was done on lithograph, and for 7, that was done with silkscreen. So there are a lot of mediums I like to work with, but lithograph is probably my favorite.
Okay. I'm just have this tarot hat right here.
I love you.
I'm sorry. Do you have any words of wisdom to people who want to try to become as good as you are and honestly, you know, try to have a job somewhere similar to what you do today?
Yeah. 昨日言っちゃったんですけどね。あります。 あ なんかね、結局頭の中のイメージを作品にするので、出来上がったものっていうのは頭の中にあるので、頭の中のイメージを膨らますのが一番大事だと思うので、本を読んだり、どっかに行ったりとかね、感受性みたいなものを自分の中で豊かにしていってやった方がいいと、まずそれが一つですね。でもう一つは例えばその絵が仕事として認められるというのは大事なんですけども、それは一つの方法であって、それとは、これを勝手な僕の自分自身のことなんですけども、自分の絵描きとして一生やらなきゃならないテーマがあって、それをどんどん追求していくことと、もう一つの時代に合ったものっていう2つがないといけないんですよね。時代に合わないといくら自分のものを追求してても受け入れられないし、かといって時代にあっても、その時代が変わった時に自分がやることが変わったので、だからその2つが自分のやるべきこと、絵描きとしてやるべきことが1つと、もう1つはその時に時代に合ったものをやる、この2つが一番大事です。
I kind of answered this question yesterday, but I want to elaborate on today. There's a couple of things that I think we can do. One thing to do is to do whatever gives you inspiration. Read books, go to a place, and you have an image in your head. Go over and over it again. Of course, draw as many pictures as you can. The other thing to do is as the generations change, as time changes, you have to go along with that as well and use that in your artwork. So those two things, find your inspiration, and the second thing is stay up to date.
Okay, there's a cat girl all the way in the back with the black arm sleeve on. Oh, buns, I'm sorry. Everyone's been wearing cat ears, so.
I was going to ask about character design in general, but I decided to ask about a specific character, and that's Puja from Final Fantasy IX. He's very interesting design, and I was wondering what inspired that, and why it's really feminine for a villain.
I don't know.
That's a difficult question.
Questions? Okay, maybe blue with the white. Yeah, there we go.
Hello, Mike does. I have a question for you. In your artworks, who or what is the biggest influence?
Who was your inspiration or what?
First artwork, the style, the way you style.
Oh.
Choose artwork.
Who or what?
Yeah.
ですね、時代によって違うんです、僕はね。昔はですね、ニール・アダムスが好きでした。バットマンのニール・アダムス。その後、フランク・ラゼットで、その後に、フランク・ラゼッタが好きで、その後に、それが多分22歳の頃だと思うんですけど、その後に、昨日も言ったんですけども、いろんな偉大な人が好きで、国事も好きだったりとか、時代によって違うんですけど、で今、何が一番好きかと言われると、もう今あまりいないんですよね。もうどこかから吸収する時代でなくても、今は自分の中にあるものを出していこうという、 そういう今僕はそういう時期なんですね。だから今まではいろんな人が好きで今でも好きなんですけども影響されたと思います。今はなんかもっと自分の世界を自分の中に追求するのが一番大事だと思います。
My inspiration changes from year to year. When I first started back in my younger years, it was Batman that inspired my work, and later it was a different person, But up now, I'm at the point in my life where I'm inspired by my own work, and I see things that I wouldn't have noticed before when I'm drawing it, so I take things from there. I think that's really important to be inspired by your own work.
I'll go with you right there. Blonde hair, green bracelet.
Sorry about earlier for the outburst. I have a weird question. Do you prefer drawing women or men?
それ断然女です。
Of course, women.
First of all, thank you very much for coming to Phoenix. On your website, do you plan to offer framed prints of your Final Fantasy work for sale?
Yoshi will talk about that in a little bit, so there might be something.
I think the Roy Mustang cosplayer right there? Yeah, there we go. It's hard to identify.
What got you started drawing?
いっぱい状況によってあるんですけども、まず自分の中でいろんな世界を想像するのが好きなんですよね。絵の世界っていうんですかね、いろんな物語とかあるので、それをなんかこう絵にする、そういう方もいるだと思うんです。頭の中にあるイメージをなんかこう形にしてみたいな。それはお花だったり、女の子だったり、あと色だったり、色って赤だったり、ピンクだったり、線だったり、いろんなものがあるんですけども、一つではないんですよね。その時によっていろんなものがこう浮かんできて、それをこう形にしていく。で、それが仕事の場合には、もちろんあるんですけども、そうじゃなくて、例えば鉛筆を持った時、それからクレヨンを持った時、マジックを持った時とか、その時になんかこう書き出すんですけど、それが楽しいんですよね。結果的に仕事になったりはするんですけども、何かを書く行為自体が僕は好きなので、だから続けてやれると思います。
There's not just one thing that I can put my finger on, but ever since I can remember, I've always liked to take the images in my head and make form of them, put them on paper. So there's many things I like: form, color, line, whatever you can think of. When I get a pencil in my hand, I get to put the images that are in my head onto paper.
Okay, and yep, right there with the black antenna.
Hi, this is kind of an odd question, but what kind of car do you drive and what color?
車 シルバーとブルーですけど、僕車運転できないんですけど。
I don't have a license, but I would love to drive a silver or blue car. In Japan, it's very difficult to drive.
Gray shirt back there.
Okay, first off, I want to say you're probably one of the greatest artists of my time. And I want to ask, what is the strangest commission you've ever been asked to draw?
Thank you very much. もうこれちょっと真面目なことになっちゃうんですけども、例えばゲームのキャラクターをやった時は、まあ出版関係だったんですよね。それでなんでそんなのやるんだと言われました。でも僕は面白そうなのでやったんですよね。そういうのがあって、だからなんかね、新しいことをやろうとすると、それはいつも変な仕事だったんですよね。でゲームの仕事も実は最初は変な仕事だったんですよ。でアニメーションも変な仕事だったんですよね。だから変な仕事はね、一番こう実は大事だったりするので、変な仕事がなんか次のなんか時代をね作ったりするかもしれないので、そういう方が楽しいです。
When I first started making any type of game, all my colleagues were in the publishing business, and so they thought that me getting into games was actually kind of strange. And even when I started doing animation, animation is kind of a strange job as well. And I think it's really important to do strange jobs and helping to create a new generation.
皆さんみんな変ですから大丈夫です。
Everybody, you're all weird, so that's okay.
Okay, we got our last two. So we're gonna do, okay, the yellow and white, and then the girl with the white blouse back there. That's standing up, yeah. Those last two.
If you could go to any planet, and you could go to any planet, which planet would you go to and why?
That's a good question.
ですね、月ですね、ムーン。とりあえずなぜかというと、月から地球を見たいんですね。本当になんか地球を見ながら、なんかぼーっとしていたいなと。実現可能な夢ですね。
The first thing that comes to mind is, of course, I'd like to go to the moon, because from the moon you can see the Earth. You just watch the Earth, you can just kind of veg out and watch the Earth move. Of course, I'd like to go to the moon.
Yeah, the girl with the white blouse right there. Yep, yep.
You do it for Final Fantasy Unlimited. Did you do any of the Frozen part or any of the back on the
Could you give us a little more information on Final Fantasy Unlimited? Yeah.
はい、
I didn't have anything to do with the animation series at all.
All right, that wraps up our Q&A. Yoshi's gonna have a quick little session, and then afterwards, if you guys can stay seated for 1 second, and we'll tell you what's gonna happen next, okay?
I just wanted to let you know about his activities toward the end of this year. First, probably within a couple of months, his long-awaited project. He has been working on this project for several years now. It's called Hero. First it comes as a book. The first volume will come out within a couple of months. That is, like he said yesterday, recently he's more interested in not just commissioned work, but he'd like to initiate from the very beginning of the project, like thinking after setting up the story, environment, create the visual. And this will be the first series that he actually initiates the whole thing. And also, another thing he also mentioned, like not just making one animation, one game, one book. Instead, he'd like to coordinate the whole thing, whole package under one theme. And this Hero will be the first project on that aspect. And second thing is that he finished the designing of the characters and environment drawings for one game, which will be will come out to the market next year. We can't tell what it is right now, but it's kind of kept a secret. But this will be the first game that his own illustration will be translated into 3D animation and moves in that screen. So. That is based on a well-known story. You know, I want to tell what it is, but I can't. When it comes out, you know. So look forward for it. And another thing is that, yeah, like a question. We will start publishing and selling his original prints on our website, www.amano's world, probably in about 3 months. So please keep an eye on that website. When you go check on the news section, all information will come up. Thank you very much.
Okay, for those who are here for the autographs, which I'm fairly sure most of you are, please stay seated. For those who aren't here to get an autograph at all, please go ahead and start making your way out of the building. Okay, that way